In other news, a UN report has found that war crimes were most likely committed by both sides during the 2014 Gaza war. The UN Human Rights Council report is based on a nearly year-long investigation into the 6-week conflict between Israel and Hamas, the Palestinian group that controls the Gaza Strip. The conflict left more than 2,200 Palestinians dead, including 1,500 civilians. 66 Israeli soldiers and 7 civilians in Israel were also killed during the fighting.
When it becomes clear very early on during the course of the hostilities that huge numbers of families are dying in these houses that are targeted by large bombs, that it must become apparent to somebody that actually whatever the rules of engagement are that are supposed to protect civilian lives are not being very effective, and so that those who are in a position to make the kinds of decisions to change the course of an operation would seem to me, should have done so. And I guess we would look at circumstantial evidence in that way, but certainly nothing direct.
Here's Makler in Jerusalem has more.
The report did blame both sides for possibly having committed war crimes, but it did focus also more on Israel. It said that Israel had to explain its targeting decisions, which led to the deaths of so many Palestinians, more than 2,000, of whom it estimates something like 1,500 were civilians. The UN report said that one of the questions that Israel has to answer is why it targeted residential buildings, which prima facie, it says, are not a military objective, and also why, having seen the death toll rise, it didn't change its policy, its military strategy. And that was a point that it made very forcefully. It did also criticise Hamas and the Palestinian militant groups in Gaza for firing rockets onto Israeli towns, threatening Israeli civilians, and also building tunnels underneath from the Gaza Strip into Israel in order to carry out possibly kidnappings and other attacks.
Moving on, a Taliban attack on the Afghan parliament has ended with all 7 militants killed by security forces. A suicide bomber detonated a car near the parliament, wounding some 19 people, while 6 other gunmen took positions in a nearby building after a failed attempt to enter the chamber where the lawmakers were meeting. With more on the story, here's Thomas Waterhouse.
The parliamentary session was being broadcast live on television when this happened. A suicide bomber detonated a vehicle packed with explosives at the entrance to the building, filling the chamber with smoke, shattering windows and sending lawmakers scurrying for safety. 6 gunmen then attempted to storm the compound before being pushed back by security forces. Outside, a thick plume of smoke filled the skies above Kabul as confusion reigned on the streets.
I was busy at work when suddenly a huge explosion came from that building. You can hear the clashes are still going on. We don't know exactly what's going on here.
The Taliban issued a statement saying they orchestrated the attack to coincide with Parliament's endorsement of Mohammed Massoum Stanekzai in the crucial post of Defence Minister. Their assault raises fresh questions about security as Afghan forces battle a resurgent Taliban for the first time without the aid of NATO forces, who ended their combat mission in December. 2 hours after the bomb exploded, the Interior Minister announced that all Taliban militants had been killed by police and that the attack was over.